Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, one and all. It is the Prepared Mind channel. It's the Zoo, and it's Sunday Night Live. And we've got a good show lined up for you guys. And remember, Sunday Night Live is your show. You guys, there's a Super Chat button up here, and then in the description, we've got Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal. And once again, any donation, your question gets right here on the screen, or I read it, it's been sent to me, text, email, etc. For some of our, well, more connected guests. Anyways, it is going to be one hell of a show. We're going to cover the gamut. We're going to cover the board, talk about what's happened in the past, what's happening now, and what's happening in the future. But you guys really get to direct the show. Sunday Night Live, the Zoo is yours. And the way to do that, again, is Super Chats. Now, a very special Super Chat is $50 or more. And that buys me a single malt scotch. And I'm going to start off, and I like to start off every Sunday this way. And Chin Music starts with a $50 super chat through Venmo, plus an additional $2.43. So $52.43. And the 250th anniversary Marine Corps shot glass right here. So I'm going to pour a generous one. Thank you, Chin Music. And he's got some great comments we're going to start the show off with. So here's to you, one and all. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. God bless, Godspeed. And down the hatch. And we're off. Woo! Like mother's milk there. So, Chin Music writes, the administration just can't keep from shooting themselves in the foot. Now they are allowing a ton of beef to come in from out of the country to help lower the price of beef. One problem, they're undercutting stateside, that is American, farmers and ranchers by at least 25%. And the ranchers are pissed now. Farmers are already upset about the impact of tariffs. I'm at the point where I'm starting to think it's all on purpose. Not to mention the support from the military is cratering also. We desperately need a second party. Yes, second, not third. The other two are pretty much the same when it comes to results. Neither side works for us. They have different masters, but it's definitely not the voters on either side. And I think Chin Music's given us quite a few topics here to just kind of run into. It's your show, folks. If you want to be next on the board, you can be. We've got the Unprepared Mind in the wings, as well as Darcy T. But let's get into what Danny, old Danny Boy, and well, we'll get to Danny Boy in a little bit also. But Chin Music here, he says the administration can't seem to keep from shooting themselves in the foot. Meaning, how do they continuously mess up when it would be so easy to get all the illegals out and not backtrack and say, let's keep them here? To say Epstein files, we need to get them out there, and oh no, and they backwalk that. That's a hoax. And no new wars, and then backtrack. Well, maybe just a couple, right? It's the backtracking, and then that's shooting themselves in the foot, right? And now, instead of helping American industry, which includes the beef industry, right? Cattle ranchers, right? It's food. This country is enormous. The United States of America, discounting Alaska, and Hawaii is a huge beef producing state as well. But just in the mainland, the amount of acres we have, we could raise cattle inexpensively. So why is beef so expensive? I'm going to give you 3 reasons. Taxes, taxes, and taxes. You're taxing the land, you're taxing the profits, you're taxing the workers, you're taxing the beef when it goes to market. It's always taxes and regulation, taxes and regulation. So, of course, how can American ranchers compete with a third world country producing who knows what kind of beef, if it's even beef, right? How can we compete? The tariffs should be on them, not on Americans, not on American ranchers. That's why Toyota, Nissan, Subaru, that's why these car companies come to America, build a manufacturing plant in America, so we have American taxes, American workers paying taxes. Not that I want them all taxed, but that's what happens, right? They have to come here to avoid the tariffs from importing their products here. In other words, there has to be a benefit to America, not just cheaper stuff. It's kind of like the Chinese. All they do is make cheap shit. And so American industry is in manufacturing suffers as a consequence. Now the farmers, once again, and they're pissed. They're being undercut. They can't compete. They can't. If they want to export, well, you know, other countries really tariff the shit out of America. And we can't get, in my opinion, we can't get the mainstream media or the government to give us the straight shit on anything. So let's move on. Let's see. Farmers upset about tariffs. And he says he's starting to think it's all on purpose. We are going through some big changes. I agree that what they're doing is on purpose or intentional. Because, well, they don't have any choice either. They don't have a lot of choice. And what I mean by that is the country has really gone to hell in a handbasket because government overtaxes, and then they way overspend what they take in taxes. And they've got, God knows how many, hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars a year going to black projects that we can't get any accountability on, right? The Treasury that has its hand up its own ass. You got the Federal Reserve has never been audited. The world is switching to a gold-backed payment system from country to country, but the United States, yeah, we have gold, lots of gold, don't worry about it, right? Things are changing. It's all being done on purpose. Just like they're inviting in foreigners, Africans, Middle Easterners, Far Easterners, from Central and South America into our countries and into Europe, destroying them. It's all on purpose. It's intentional. Now, Chin Music writes, the support from the military is cratering also. I think what he's referring to is the support for the military, and then the men and women who are serving in the military. The morale is taking a shit. It's absolutely taken a shit. It has. It's taken an absolute shit. From them, backing up the pipes, causing things to overflow. Military personnel trying to jump to their death off of aircraft carriers. Because why? Because the military is being used to serve the interests of the international bankers, foreign nations, and political shenanigans that don't benefit us in any way. It's not benefiting us. And I think Chin Music hits it on the head here when he says, right, the other two parties, we need a second party, not a third, because the other two, they're the uniparty. Republicans and Democrats are pushing for the same things. It's just who is going to benefit the most? Who gets the government contracts? Because foreign lobbying organizations like AIPAC, they give money to both sides, Democrats and Republicans, so that no matter who wins, they get to influence, if not control, absolutely our government. They do the president, they do Congress, they do the Senate. They throw their money everywhere, and they're buying influence, right? Because Chin Music says they have different masters, but it's definitely not the voters on either side. The only competing I think we have with foreigners is China on one side and Israel on the other. They seem to be the biggest donors. I mean, look, if you literally look at every congressman's office and every senator's office, you'll see two flags. You'll see the American flag and you'll see the Israeli flag. You won't see the Chinese flag. You won't see that because, that they're communists. But Israel's everywhere. Why? Israel is the size smaller than New Jersey, for fuck's sake. But they control our country with money. And that's an awful, awful, awful thing. It's an awful thing. Anyways, Chin Music, thank you, sir. But we're going to roll right into this super chat donation right here. Pow! From the Unprepared Mind. He hit that button right up there, the super chat button, and now he's here. So this ties into what Chin Music was saying, is both parties have various masters, and none of them serve us. Treason has become a catchword. Thank you, Unprepared Mind. It has. Absolutely. What we're seeing is in our face, open, naked treason coming out of Washington, D.C., the state capitals, the state legislatures. Who are these people serving? Not us. Are they obeying the Constitution? No, they're not, in my opinion. They're serving themselves. They're serving themselves. From artificial intelligence to intelligence gathering, intelligence processing, and then selling. And when I say intelligence, I mean, what is it that you're looking at, listening to? Where are you driving? What are you buying? Where are you spending your money? What's your social awareness? What's your political awareness? What is your opinion on things? And they gather all that information up, and they got a file on you, on me, on all of us, and then they can sell that to commercial enterprises, corporations. They can sell it to governments. But they've got us, all of us now. And I think it's treason. All the way down to the flock cameras being purchased by our HOAs, homeowners associations, small cities, counties. Who the hell do they think they are? Well, we're going to have to find out the hard way. Thank you for the great donation, Unprepared Mind guy. And now, well, we got Carport Carl sitting out there. And we'll get to his super chat donation in a moment. We also have Darcy T with her super chat donation. And this is the Prepared Mind channel, the thepreparedmind.club right there. If you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, with your plan to be prepared for whatever's coming your way, that is the place to start. Our website, thepreparedmind.club. We don't sell anything. I just have links that shoot you off to whoever has what you need to buy, to get ready, to be prepared ahead of time. Right? You don't wait till the hurricane wipes out your house, wipes out your neighborhood. You don't wait for the earthquake to break the bridges and break your homes. You don't wait for the tornado to come through before you build a tornado shelter. Right? No, you have everything prepared ahead of time. That's what being a prepper is. In fact, all of America and the world used to be preppers. Back World War II and beyond, into the history, into the background. People were always ready. They always had food stored up because they didn't know what was coming. What would happen? Now people think, oh, I'll know ahead of time. No, you don't get to know ahead of time. But even with, say, a week's notice of a hurricane coming, people are still absolutely unprepared. I see it. I've been here in Florida since October 31st of 2020. Every time there's a tropical storm or a hurricane coming, the panic starts 2 or 3 days before it gets here. The stupid. These people should know better, but they're not thinking like preppers. I'm glad you guys are, and I'm glad you're here, and let's get into it. We've got Darcy T checking in, and she's got something to say. She always does. But before I get started, she did a PayPal super chat donation. Down below in the description, video description, there's PayPal, Venmo, and CashApp. And she did a $50 PayPal, and she does every week. Great supporter of the channel. And just like Chin Music, and many, many, many of you guys are here every week, making sure I only have to have 2 jobs, not 3. Not 3. So without you guys, the show doesn't work. That's why we do the zoo. It is your show. I want to give you the reins. You're supporting it with your super chats. So here it is. Darcy T, to you, thank you. Without you guys, all of you, this show wouldn't exist. Woo! Single malt scotch. Thank you, Scotland, and thank you, Darcy T. And she says, good evening, John. This is just a comment and concern about the growing issue of the water level in Lakes Mead and Powell. I don't think that people understand the frightening ramifications of allowing these two bodies of water to go dry or nearly dry. I believe the world governments, under the direction of the globalists, have the technology to control the weather and are deliberately causing droughts and water diversion to continuously reduce the water levels. It's not just going to cause water rationing, but also affects agriculture and food production in general, power production, and to a lesser extent things like travel and tourism. We're sitting back and watching this happen as they continue to modify the weather and divert critical water resources. Just another form of global control. Well, among the many other types of global control. Thank you, Darcy T. I really think we could address this nicely here, especially from a patriotic and a prepper standpoint. So, water. First, let's start with Lakes Mead and Powell. Water that's collected in these reservoirs is used for a couple of items. Number one, power production and water storage. Right, so huge reservoirs create, big fall for the water that's released to keep the rivers going. Right, they create hydroelectric power, and then the water is stored and it's used in municipal functions. Right, so water stored over by Las Vegas literally gets piped to the Los Angeles basin. Now, the tertiary benefits are wildlife and recreation and tourism. All right, people like to go get wet and splash around in the water. It's pretty to see lakes, even if the lake was a lake and it's been artificially raised even higher with a dam and a reservoir. But they seem to be going dry. Why would they do this? Where is the benefit to causing droughts in certain areas? Well, what do we know that they want to do? What have the globalists, who Darcy refers to here? Well, the globalists are the World Economic Forum, the international bankers, international corporations. They have no allegiance to any country. They couldn't give a shit about America any more than they give a shit about France or Japan. They just don't care. It's all about them making money and controlling everyone. So it's about control. How do you control people? Well, money, right? They want to take water from us. They are now saying, Nestle in particular, is a huge corporation that's trying to buy up water rights, public water rights, and say that the public has no right to water. They want to control the water and cause people to change their behavior. Now, one of the ways I've noticed, because I've seen this, these disgusting fucking commercials on television for 72-hour body deodorant. And in the commercials, they show idiot millennials and idiot Gen Z spraying this shit all over their bodies, in their armpits, literally spraying it down their pants, on their balls, or in their ass crack. In the commercial, they're like, this is how you use this product. You won't have to take a shower for 72 hours. That's 3 frickin' days. See, they don't want us taking showers. They want us putting chemicals on our body. And they want us stinking. Why? It's about control. Is it a form of punishment? It's a form of punishment, but you might also look at it as a form of humiliation. Right? They don't like us getting on a plane and seeing them, the rich fuckers, in first class. They don't like us seeing them in first class, getting on the same plane that takes off the same time they take off and lands at the same place they do, and they get off first, but we're just regular people. They don't like that. They think we should be humiliated, sitting in shitty small seats, getting crappy food. That's not enough humiliation. They want to take travel away from us. They want to take travel, water, food. They want us to eat fucking bugs. They want us to eat 3D printed bio slop that is supposed to look like chicken or beef. That's what they're doing. That's what they're pushing. That's why they're making beef prices go through the fucking roof. Right, Chin Music? Beef prices through the fucking roof, so people go, well, do I buy real beef? Or do I come over here and buy this fucking bio slop that Bill Gates likes, wants me to eat? Fucking Klaus Schwab and his eat the bugs. It's a humiliation ritual. It's a control ritual. So yeah, raise the prices. Hold back the water. Now Darcy again says, we're sitting back and watching this happen as they continue to modify the weather and divert critical water resources. Now, how do we know this to be true? Because there are people up there in the aviation industry, and they are fucking traitors in my book. The pilots, the ground crew, and the companies that produce the products, and they're spraying them in the air to contaminate our air, our food, our water, and also they're allegedly, according to the experts, that is part of the weather control. Right? They've got metallic particles suspended in the air for hours and days while they zap the air with microwave transmissions to control and manipulate the weather. How do we know that works? Because all around the country of Iran, all around Iran, what did they have? What did they have? Microwave radar stations. Are we sure they were radar? Or are they radar and weather modification? Because when Iran bombed the shit out of Oman, Qatari, when they bombed the shit out of Saudi Arabia and UAE, they bombed all those radar stations. What happened? The fucking clouds came over Iran. They started producing rain and snow. It filled their reservoirs. It caused their rivers to run. All of a sudden the land turns green. Vegetation grows. How fucking about that? So we know all of that microwave radar activity is not just to keep an eye on them. It was to punish them by making food more scarce, which makes food more expensive, which takes the productivity level of a country down because there's not extra wealth out there. And that's the whole point of taxation anyways, folks. There's no reason to tax you 30, 40, 50% of every fucking paycheck. There's no reason for it. Not at all. I mean, here in Florida, they're talking about getting rid of property tax. Well, if they don't need the property tax money now, why have they fucking needed it the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50? Where'd all the money go? What's the point of it if they don't need it now? They never needed it. They just take and take and take. So we have less and less and less. And it's a form of punishment, humiliation, and control. And this whole humiliation thing, folks, trust me, it's going to become more apparent to you. Just as it's become more apparent to me over the last 10 years, as I've learned why the rich hate us so much and what they're doing to punish us. It's about control. It's about control. It's about keeping us down so we don't have a good life. Rich people have air conditioning, you have air conditioning. Rich people have freezers and fridges full of food, you have fridges and freezers full of food. They drive Maseratis, Ferraris, Jags, and really fancy cars, but we drive decent cars, Fords, Chevys, Toyotas, etc. And both have, well, electric windows, automatic transmission, air conditioning, power steering, heads-up display. We've got it all. Us poor people have it pretty good. We've got windows that open and close in our houses, air conditioning, heaters, hot water. We've got everything. Microwaves for cooking our food. Everything we have is the same as the rich people. They just have the nicer version. They don't like that. They want you suffering. And so they live behind, well, fences and gates, while they tell you and me our country doesn't get to have a fence or a gate. And so criminals can come flooding into our fucking neighborhoods. You commit a crime, you go to jail. They commit a crime, maybe a little bit of media, no jail. It's a two-tier system with two parties serving the same masters, just sucking money from them and doing everything they can to destroy us. Not a big fan of what's going on, folks. I see nothing but trouble coming from it. All right, it's your show. It's Sunday Night Live, and I got to tell you, we're now going to talk to Carport Carl. He steps up with a big old $10 super chat donation. And if you want to talk, if you've got something to say, I'll get you on the screen and make you famous, just like Carport Carl here. The button's right up there. Button is right up there. We got 250 people live, folks. By the way, if you want to comment, I need you to be a subscriber. And, of course, share the internet address up top. We are live right now. Send it text. Send it email. Call someone on the phone. Say, hey, wake the fuck up. Come and listen to this John guy. He's got a lot of interesting topics. Very important. People need to be aware and be prepared. Right? So, yeah. Right? So, text, call, write, email, fax. How about carrier pigeons? Get the word out, folks. We are being shadow banned. We are being hidden by YouTube. Social media doesn't like us. We got YouTube. We have thepreparedmind.club. We have subscribestar.com. We should be on BitChute. We should be on Rumble. I know we're on X, Uman X, Instagram. We're all over the place. Facebook, but they hide us. How did we get to 80,000 subscribers on one YouTube channel, and then they just killed us? They killed that channel altogether. We start another YouTube channel. Here we are, 5,200 subscribers and growing. And they reinstituted, they gave us back the other 80,000 subscribers. So we have 85,000 subscribers, yet we only get 250 people live, because a lot of them don't even know we're even here anymore. They have no clue, because YouTube won't tell anyone. That's why social media is only promoted by us from the inside. So that's why I ask you guys, please spread the word on any channel, not just this one, any channel that is beneficial. Tell people to wake the fuck up, because there is some shit going down. Clarkport Carl says, John, can we all drive Congress to make family-owned food producers' operations tax-free? And would this help all farmers and meat producers? Family-owned being the key qualification. I would love to see that. See, the thing with a corporation, a large company, if you will, they have the benefit of the economies of scale. They've got massive investment dollars. They've got massive bankrollers. They've got massive backing. They can build huge food production plants. And at the end of the day, they can work on a smaller margin altogether. Whereas a family farm or a small farm, you call it a family owned. And I've been around a lot of family owned cattle ranchers in Northern California when I lived there. Let's see, there was, well, I don't want to name them, but one of the biggest in California, I'll name it, 5 Dot Ranches, right? They had their own, they were doing their own beef stuff, meaning grass-fed beef sales, trying to get into retail. But unless you're a major corporation, it is a back-breaking, wallet-busting idea, because it is so difficult because of the taxes. But it's such a small ranch. On the other hand, it's small, right? All these ranches are small. Does the state, does the federal government need the money from a cattle rancher to survive? Fuck, we give away hundreds of billions of dollars to fight wars every fucking year. But we can't cut the food producers a fucking break? I agree. I think that family-owned ranches, farms, right? If it is a produce producing ranch or farm, anything less than 1,000 acres, tax-free. Cattle ranchers, tax-free. Now, I'm not saying tax-free on everything they do, but tax-free on the cattle, tax-free on the chickens, tax-free on the hogs. Why not make it so that food is less expensive, right? And make the farmers profitable so they can compete with the massive corporations that work on economy of scale. They're so big and so well financially backed, they buy up farms. They tell the farmer, this is what we'll pay you. Don't you think the farmer should be able to say, this is what it costs to make a pig or a cow or a chicken, and we need to make 40% profit on top of that because we pay 30% taxes, right? Whatever the number is. Like, we need to have something after we pay taxes because they've got the same thing we do. Income tax, state income tax, right? You got those taxes. You got property taxes. When you have 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres, 500 acres, 200 acres, you're paying massive property taxes to the fucking state. All that comes out of your profits. Very difficult. One of the county supervisors where I came from, he was a cattle rancher. He lived, as the crow flies, about 3 miles from my former place. About 5 miles if you take the road. Anyways, you know, he's a county supervisor and a rancher and a this and a that. Everyone does everything they can. Can we all drive Congress? We can. We can call, and I recommend doing this. Call, write, text, email, fucking carrier pigeon your congressman and tell them what you want. Right? We need to get rid of taxes. We need to get rid of the fucking taxes. That's one of the things Trump ran on and his chin music wrote. He's backpedaling, right? He's shooting himself in the foot. Oh, we're going to get rid of taxes. Tariffs will pay for everything. You're going to get $5,000 checks back and no taxes and what the fuck? Now, I don't think any of us should be taxed at all by the federal government. Not on our wages. I trade, let's just say I make $500 an hour. I trade $500 an hour for $500 an hour of my intelligence. Or $50 an hour for $50 of intelligence. Or if I'm an entry-level kid, $15 an hour for $15 worth of whatever. So it's an equal trade. There's no profit there. You see, that's what income is. Income is profit, according to the tax code. But they look at everything we make, wages, and they call it income or profit. I haven't made any fucking profit in I don't know how many years relative to what they take from me. Right? And then as individuals, what do we have? You can't write anything off if you're employed by someone else. They call what you make profit, and then you aren't allowed to write anything off. Your fucking insurance they require you to have, car insurance you're required to have, the cost of fuel which gets taxed, the cost of food that you have to eat in order to go work. Everything you do is taxed. Fuck all these people. Anyways, Carport Carl, you got me fired up, man. You got me fired up. So thank you, and hey, if you've got something to say, super chat button right up there, and I'll get you on the screen just like Carport Carl. But our country is under threat. It is under duress. It is in trouble. And I want to tell you why. Because our country is being invaded, and the politicians know it, and they're allowing it. They want civil strife. They want partisan conflict. They want us at each other's throats. They want me and you to be fighting with them and all the other wacko left-wing stupid groups. In fact, I would like you to take a look at this. Whoa, ho, 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 ho! What the fuck is that? Well, that right there, my good friends, is the chairwoman of the new Black Panther Party. And she's fierce, she's feisty, and she's apparently pretty top-heavy. She demands freedom for a convicted murderer. Really? She's demanding freedom for Carmelo Anthony. What is that she's got in her right hand there? What is that she's got in her right hand? Is that a pistol? Or is that a spoon for eating more food? Hard to tell, yeah, but that's exactly what they want, folks. These left-wing groups want to make demands. And she says, black power, it's about goddamn time. Get a job if you want power. Save your money if you want power. Nope, All these groups out there, folks, is about making demands. Now, if you take a closer look again, the Black Panthers have always been a paramilitary group, a militant militia type group, but they're not nationalists. They're racists. Racists. The name of their organization is called Black Panther Party, and they are black people. Right? So it is a racist organization. And they demand freedom for someone who's been convicted of murder. Our good buddy Carmelo Anthony, remember that guy? He's the one who walked up and took over someone's tent and was asked to leave, and then stabbed Austin Metcalf on the heart with a knife after telling his ex-girlfriend, who he was stalking earlier that day, that he was on the edge and he wanted to stab somebody and lick the blood off of the knife. Made other threats, and these fucking idiots here, the Black Panther Party, the new Black Panther Party, they want a what? They want a murderer set free. Well, if this was England, I'm sure they'd do it. I'm sure they would. I am absolutely certain in England they wouldn't want to cause any trouble or appear racist. So yeah, they would they would definitely screw us over. Anyways, this is just a peek. This is a start, just a peek at what we can expect to see more of as the government overtaxes us and you, controls you, regulates you, taxes you, regulates you, taxes you some more, taxes your kid, taxes your savings, taxes your retirement. And then when you get to retirement age, they'll tax you some more. They hate you and they hate me and they hate us all, folks. And it's not going to go away. Now, I've got these idiots here. This is Antifa. Antifa. Right, these are American Antifa. But you'll notice the Antifa, anti-fascist action flag. You'll notice on the guy on the left with the red bandana around his face, he's got the communist fist and star. This is Antifa. Extremely violent. Well, let's read what this says here. I am stressing the fuck out. Never been so goddamn paranoid in my life. Fuck Rico, fuck Georgia, fuck the state, and fucking fuck cops. Antifa. And most Antifa types are trust fund babies, spoiled rich kids. They went to college. They don't want to get a job. They want their parents to continue to fund them. And guess what? I've actually met people like this. They're in their 20s. They're in their 30s. If they're not living at home, they're living with their parents giving them money. They don't want jobs. They're too good to go and actually get a job. But here we are. Now, these people, even though they're well off, very much well off, and we'll talk about more of these types of shitheads, right? These are white liberals. We also have Muslim liberal anti-civilization types. They're all out there. These are a bunch of trust fund rich fuckers pretending that they've got it rough. Absolutely pretending that they've got it rough. Oh, good golly, I'm telling you, folks. Where are they? Right? Where are they? Oh, we're going to have some fun. We'll talk about these broads later. More of these trust fund types. But back to these guys, these Antifa guys. We're going to go over to German Antifa. And this is not a shocker, but in Germany, extremist left-wing media, TAZ, T-A-Z, is calling for the murder to stop the Alternative for Deutschland political party from winning in elections. They're literally calling the Antifa types in Germany are openly in the media saying they need to murder their pro-Germany conservatives. That's what AfD or Alternative for Deutschland. It's an alternative, or it's kind of like alternative media. It's alternative political party. It's now blatant, in our faces, unapologetically communist, fascist, anti-law filth. Antifa. And guess what? It's being allowed. The media is saying it because these people want it. The government's allowing it. So when the government allows criminal behavior, what do we say they're doing? They're sanctioning it. And this is going to turn into remember the movie The Purge? A purge-style political murder system that abuses anyone these people don't like. If you are a nonconformist with the Antifites, then they're going to allow this type of political abuse. Anyone who refuses left-wing media, left-wing politics, if anyone opposes this social genetic suicide that European and American models are doing, that is to say, bringing in Muslims, bringing in terrorists, bringing in drug lords, and allowing them to rape, rob, and steal, kidnap, and prostitute everybody they can. These people want to fucking kill you if you oppose that. Right? Again, think about what I just said they want to do. Kill anyone that doesn't agree with them politically. They want to be the cops. They want to be judge, jury, executioner. Right? Fuck the state and fuck fucking cops. What state are they opposed to? The guys in this picture. Fuck Georgia. Once again, the Constitution. This is the U.S. Constitution. Every state in the Union has the same exact Constitution as their state constitutions. It's the same thing. They hate the state. They hate the Constitution. They hate the police. They want their state, their government, their police. They want to be the policing authority that what? That kills everyone they want. Oh, we're going to talk about this. Bigger than shit. If you want to talk about this topic or any other topic and you want to be on the board, super chat button right up there will get you there. That's how it works. Now, where are we going here? I'm not all over the place, but by golly, yeah. The state of Florida, right? The state of Florida is doing a great job right now. This is excellent news I wanted to share with you. Excellent, excellent news. The state of Florida is making sure this doesn't happen. Oh, look, firing squad. People blindfolded, tied up, and awaiting their death. Florida is now requiring public schools to teach our American students about the dangers of communism. Remember, I don't know if you guys know about McCarthyism. After World War II, the world realized that communism is fucking dangerous. I mean, you had on the one side, on the American side of fighting Germany, on the other side you had Russia, but on our side we had General Patton on the ground with the troops up at the front, and he got all the way to Berlin and realized, literally, that we, the American military, were fighting on the wrong side of the war. We should have been fighting with Hitler against the communists. We should have, I'm going to say that again, Patton said, we should have been fighting with Germany against the communists. And so after World War II, when the world went, oh yeah, communism bad, whoops, sorry, fucked that one up. Then we had the whole red threat, and then McCarthyism. Communists were being thrown in jail, communists were being outed, they were getting blacklisted. Hollywood is full of fucking communists, even back then, and they were hiding it. Remember, folks, the Israelis, the Jews, are pro-communist. So they own Hollywood, right? Like Mayer, Goldwyn, right? You know who they are, MGM, right? It was controlled. It is propaganda. Even back then, movies were propaganda. Music is propaganda. Entertainment is propaganda. News is propaganda. And they're all communist. But there was such a huge rejection of communism after World War II because of what was learned about these people. They killed over 50 million Christians and Russians in Russia when they became the Soviet Union, the communists. And they turned it into Germany bad, World War II bad, and don't even think about the communists. That's what they've been doing the last 50 years. That's what they've been doing the last 50 years. With all of the Holocaust stuff with Germany, and Germany and fascism bad, but communism's good, socialism's good. Well, they're now going to teach about the dangers of communism in Florida. What needs to be taught is that the Bolshevik communists did everything that the Nazis were accused of after World War II was done. Everything the communists did, they said the Nazis were doing. Right? Communists had concentration camps. Did you know that? That became the Gulag. Gulag isn't a Nazi thing. Gulag is a communist thing. It's literally, they had concentration camps, they had work camps, they had execution camps. They had mass executions, folks, where, I mean, this is cute, lining up 5 guys. They would line up hundreds of people in front of an open pit, mow them down with guns, and shove them in and push them in with fucking tractors. The communists are racist. Whoever they don't like all of them. They're anti-Christian, and they committed anti-Christian massacres. There's this thing called the Holodomor, where the communists killed millions of Christians. It was absolute mayhem. And Stalin, Joseph Stalin, who was the communist leader during World War II, is a super fucking communist. He was such a paranoid, murderous sack of shit that he even had half of his military officers executed. Pure evil. And now, here we are, 80 freaking years later, 90 years later, 85 years later, finally schools are going to start to teach at an early age the students in Florida that communism is a murderous, evil fucking system. Communists, or you can call them socialists, right? Take your pick. Take your pick. Right? This is what's going on, folks. Now, let us continue, shall we? Let us continue. What? Before I continue, looks like we've got Viking checking in with a super chat donation. Let's jump over to that. Viking's on the board with a $20 super chat donation. And he says, Mark Carney, that would be the Prime Minister of Canada. Mark Carney is increasing the migration here to 1.5 million per year. He says, this is unsustainable. We're not talking America, folks. We're talking Canada to the north. 1.5 million people per year. Now, America has, let's go on the East Coast. Seattle, Portland, San Francisco Bay Area, Oakland, San Jose, Los Angeles, San Diego. That's just the coastal cities. You move inland, you got Phoenix, you got Vegas. You go up, you got Salt Lake City, right? Let's just jump over, let's see, Phoenix, Arizona. You got, well, some in New Mexico. You got some population in Colorado. And then you get to the Mississippi. You get to Texas. There's 6 metropolises in Texas at least. You got 2 in Missouri. You got the Great Lakes, all the metropolis and people around there. Then you've got the entire Gulf Coast. You got the Atlantic Seaboard, which includes New York City, Washington, D.C., Boston. Right? You got Philadelphia. You got Baltimore. You got Pittsburgh. The outrageous, huge numbers of cities. Canada has Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, Alberta, you got like 4 or 5 metropolises. And they're going to jam 1.5 million people into that from foreign fucking countries? Yeah, Viking, you're absolutely right. It's unsustainable. And how are you supposed to support these fucking people? They're all, one, they lie about their credibility, education, experience. They don't speak English. They don't want to speak English. They couldn't give a fuck about English. And they hate Canadians. They hate white people. Now, Mark Carney is increasing the migration. he's only allowed to bring in 1% of the total population. 1% of the total population, right? Well, that would mean that in order to do that, Canada has 150 million people. 1% of that is 1.5. I'm shocked. Viking is saying that 1.5 million people is 2.5% of the population. Well, let's see, 150 million. So basically, you're saying that Canada has 75 to 90 million people. That's incredible. America is only supposed to have 350 million people. And we're a lot bigger landmass, literally, and a lot more big cities. But yeah, Viking says, I'll be leaving Canada soon. I can't blame you. I don't understand how anyone can survive there, but I look around America, same story. Same story. Viking, come on down to Florida, man. We need more good people here. People who want lower taxes, less control from the government, stay the fuck out of our lives. Communism is bad. Right? Pro-America. Get the Muslims out of here. Get the foreign influence out of here. Get lying sacks of shit like Byron Donalds out of here. Oh, I'm not happy with that fucking clown. But we got to work with what we got. We got to deal with what's in front of us. Anyways, Viking, thank you for the great support. Your super chat donations not only get you on the board, but when you hit that button and donate it, you put Spam tuna fish into the pantry, and you keep the lights on, and it pays for all the expenses we have. The subscriptions I have for news, for production, the fees we have to pay. You guys, thank you so much. Right? It's nothing is free. Nothing is easy. And you guys make it happen. So thank you very, very much. Having the preparedmind.club, right? It doesn't really make a lot of money, but it's a service, right? Through that, you can sign up and be a premium payer there. $2 a month if you're at the club, or subscribestar.com. And you get to be here Monday through Friday live. But right now it's Sunday night live. And everybody's here for free. And I Am Marilyn did a $20 super chat donation and writes, I believe that it was Lenin that stated that, quote, the goal of socialism is communism, end quote. Well, that wouldn't surprise me in the least. Now, Lenin was another communist pre-Joseph Stalin, pre-World War II. I believe he's still, he was entombed. After he died, his body was prepared, embalmed, kept in a sealed glass coffin. I think it was pumped nitrogen only, so he wouldn't deteriorate, he wouldn't rot, so that they could view the great Lenin. Wow. He's the guy that was balding on top, a little hair on the sides, and had the chin beard with the big goatee, and he murdered millions of fucking people. Yeah, Lenin. The goal of socialism is communism. They're literally the same thing. But people who don't want you to think they're a communist, they just go, oh, we're just socialists. We just think that society should pay for a lot of stuff. When the actual goal is communism. Look, all a communist is a socialist in a big hurry. A communist is a socialist in a big hurry. They want the same thing. Absolute total government control of human behavior, human thinking, and all the wealth, the means of production. Everything is to be owned by the state. Now, fascism is a form of socialism, but its goal is still tyrannical, 100% authoritarian government control of everything, with one exception. Large corporations and wealthy families get to keep their property, keep their money, and keep their government contracts so that the government pays them to produce for the state. They make money, and then they, the rich people, the corporations, send their money to the government employees, that is politicians, and so they pay the government pays them. So they go back and forth, keeping their power, keeping their wealth, while you and I, way down here at the bottom level, barely subsisting, pay a shit pile of taxes. That's what socialism is. And pure communism is the government owns the mines, the farms, the processing, the factories, the means of production, the stores, transportation, everything. The state in communism even owns the people. You are a government asset. You're a human resource. So when they started using that term in the United States of America decades ago, I was fucking pissed about it. Pissed about it. I'm not a human resource. Fuck off. I am a free human being. I'm not a resource for the government to allocate where it needs. But, you know, here we are. Here we are. Good golly. Let's do this. Thank you, I am Marilyn. Got me all fired up there. Woo! Right. What they're doing is they're trying to get us all to scream, government, please help us. Help us. And the government causes the problem. They cause the problem. The people scream for help. The government offers a solution that the government caused the problem that we scream for help, that the government then causes more problems, so we scream for more help, which causes more problems, and the government, right? It's called the Hegelian dialect. It's also commonly or popularly called problem, reaction, solution. So the government allows the problem to happen. Bad things happen. The people scream for the government to help. This government says, we just need more power and money. So I'm going to tell you about this. No place is safe. Always be aware. Here's a problem that the government is allowed. And it's even worse in England, in the UK, in Europe. But it's happening here now. Right? The Carmelo Anthony. He's a pissed off black kid, so he stabs a white guy in the heart. And now the new Black Panthers say, we want him out of jail. Even though a judge and a jury and a criminal trial found him to be absolutely fucking guilty. And now more evidence has come out that he's beyond guilty. I mean, he's literally beyond guilty. And the things he was doing and things he texted. In fact, his request for a new trial got thrown out. But there are many more Carmelo Anthonys out there. You and me, we're not safe. Every day, folks, I carry my 1911 45 ACP on my body in a concealed holster. Whether I'm in a rich part of the state, a poor part of the state, or anywhere in between. Because no place is safe. Get this. Look at these guys here. Let's see. You see two kids running up. There's a man not paying attention. He's a white guy sitting in the hot tub at his apartment. And he's about to get soccer kicked in the back of the fucking head. And that's exactly what happened. Those two Utes viciously attacked and then stole the phone and whatever else he had on him as a single father. And allegedly this was a TikTok stunt. You know, let's do something stupid on camera and get a lot of clicks. But he's just relaxing in the hot tub. And he's a white guy. And he's not paying attention. And this is what fucking happens. Now, the guy in the hot tub, he could have been Mexican. He could have been black. He could have been Asian. It doesn't matter. Because the Utes, right, they're operating on the same mental level as Carmelo Anthony. I had a bad day. I'm not happy. My girlfriend broke up with me. I can't seem to pass the second fucking grade. Even after trying it 5 times. Whatever their excuse is, they're not happy. But they love TikTok. They love doing illegal shit and filming it and putting it on there. Anything from holding fucking guns to holding money and holding drugs. Beating the shit out of someone. Torturing a retard. Pushing old women in front of fucking buses. Pushing women and old men in front of fucking trains. This is what they do, folks. In fact, these stunts, this type of shit, always have included punches, shoves, kicks, even mass beatdowns, meaning 4, 5, 10, 20 people beating up on one person. And the criminals, these fucking people call them pranks. They call that, it's not a fucking prank. You put this guy in the hospital, he could have fucking drowned. He could have fucking drowned. But they call it a prank. They call it social justice. They call it, I had a bad day. And judges let them off. These liberal fucking judges let them off. So the government allows it, so they do more of it. We scream for help. The government says, we just need more power and money and authority. And then we get more of this and still no help. And then we say, government, do something. They go, here's some flock cameras. What are they doing at flock cameras? They're stalking their boyfriends, their girlfriends. They're arresting the wrong people. They're harassing the wrong people. They're not doing any fucking good. The people that are operating the cameras have them pointed at children's schools, looking at children. But all of these are incremental socio-criminal moves. They're socio-criminal efforts made by the government. They're leading to a social partisan conflict. Whether it's racial social partisan, whether it's financial or economic, right? This guy is relaxing in a hot tub. I believe he is a chef that feeds hungry people. He helps feed the homeless. These kids don't have any fucking clue, nor do they care. They want to do a stunt. They want some revenge. So they find this guy who's got a hot tub. He must be rich. Let's kick him in the fucking head, steal his shit. So, racial partisan conflict, economic partisan conflict. They don't care. Legal partisan conflict, because the government wants more authority. That's exactly what they want. Whew! Fucking had it with the stupid, folks. All right, it's Sunday Night Live. We're 1 hour into the show, and guess what? Now we've got Robin stepping in with a $50 super chat donation. And you know what that means? That means I get an 18-year-old single malt Glenfiddich Scotch whiskey. And I could use it. I was getting a little parched. So thank you, Robin. And I will pour a nice one here. And I got to tell you, without you guys, all of you, this show wouldn't happen. The show couldn't happen because I'd be literally working a third or a fourth job. People I know, even in Florida, which is a pretty happening state, people are working 2, 3, 4 jobs to make ends meet. You know, luckily I live in the bunker, underground. I don't have much of a cooling or heating bill. Anyways, cheers and thank you, Robin, for this great scotch and the $50 donation, super chat style. Whew. How did a sneeze sneak in there? One more time. I didn't want to drink that and sneeze and blow it all over the microphone. Would have been bad. Woo! You know that, you can just, there's so much bouquet to it, so much aroma, the flavor and the peatiness of scotch. It's just, good stuff. And it warms the soul and the tummy. Anyways, Robin says, there are a lot of threats coming at us. I couldn't agree more, Robin. From every angle. Right? From every angle. Just the most simple basic things, right? Food, water, shelter. The threats. Our food. Can we even get it? It's super expensive. Is it being poisoned? Does it have mRNA shit in it? They want to feed us bugs. They want to feed us sludge. They want us to buy meat that we don't even know if it's meat. Okay, water. Once again, basic human elements for living. Water. They're fucking stealing it. They're diverting water. We either get no rain or we get fucking flooded out. The reservoirs, where's our water going? It's going to the data centers. Computers need water more than us. Government doesn't give a fuck about you or me, but they want to make sure those rich people get their computers cooled with our water that then they pump down into the ground full of contaminants and shit, contaminating our groundwater. They're complete awful fucking people destroying our country. Oh, don't worry. They are international corporations. And they hate America, so what do they give a fuck? Literally, we've been told by other countries and their leaders that they want to destroy America and leave it as a husk of its former self, a welfare state destroyed. Anyways, let's get to sentence number 2. Let's start again. Robin says, there are a lot of threats coming at us. Our food, our water, and our grid systems, to name a few. So I just talked about food a little, and the water. Right? And the grid system, meaning our power system. To name a few things. Our power, electricity. We were told coal is bad. We were told gas is bad. We were told diesel is bad. It puts carbon in the air. But what are they doing now? We were told nuclear is green. We need more nuclear power. We need to get uranium and build nuclear power plants. No, they don't want that. No. I mean, they say they want it, but they're not doing it. Instead, they're firing up more diesel-fired generators, natural gas-fired generators. Isn't that putting carbon in the air? They don't give a fuck because it's going to their, what? Their data centers, their computer centers. Fucking gigawatts of power being wasted on their computer systems so they can track everyone, make money off of everyone, control everyone. But the best way to do that is to take our power, deny us, no power for you, you dirty humans, your carbon footprint, but look at the carbon footprint of the massive corporations. People like Bill Gates and Zark Zuckerberg, right? I mean, literally, they have yachts longer than football fields, folks. Private yachts. Do you know how many fucking diesel motors are in those things? Enough to run an AI data center. They don't care. They'll pump out carbon. They'll burn the fuck out of diesel and bunker fuel. They don't care. But for you, right? So, Robin continues. What are some of the ways that will enable us to still communicate, which is one of the key necessities? Yeah, they are threatening our food to take it and make it so expensive. They're threatening our water. We don't deserve water. It's not a human right. Right? And then our power. How will we communicate, which is one of the key necessities? Well, if you go to thepreparedmind.club, there's a communication section on there. There's lots of ways that we communicate. One of the ways is, well, radio. Right? Now, you and I don't speak on the radio, but the radio waves come to us, and we turn on our radio and tune in certain stations. And it's one-way communication, but it is a way to receive information. There are very smart people out there, folks. A lot of smart people that can broadcast. They can broadcast very long ranges. Right? Shortwave radio, world band radio, ham radio. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to communicate that don't require the internet. Now, everything I do is broadcast through the internet. If someone wants to rebroadcast it over the air, television, radio, I don't give a shit. I want the information out. That's what I care about. People need to know they're trying to control our communication. The internet was supposed to be the elite's way to control everything we see and hear and know. They were supposed to control everything. But guess what? Guess what? They lost control. Social media, we discovered we can use it for our benefit, right? So that we can communicate. It is, as you say, a key necessity, Robin, to communicate with one another. And they don't like that. That's why they made free speech, the First Amendment. They want to kill that. Sorry, fuck you. You can't stop free speech. So then they say, well, we're going to control your speech on the internet. You can't talk about this or that because it's misinformation. Sorry, if government can lie, if politicians can lie, if cops can lie, why can't we lie? Why can't we tell our own version of the truth? Why can't we put our own spin, our own interpretation of it? They don't want that. They lost control because of social media, folks. They are pissed about it. So what's their solution? They can cut our power anytime they want. They can blame hackers. Oh yeah, hackers a few weeks ago were shutting down municipal water supplies. They hacked into water departments, water districts, and we're fucking with them. Very dangerous. Cutting off water, maybe contaminating it by adjusting the chemical controls for putting chemicals in the water to sanitize it or purify it. They can do the same to our power. Remember, several years ago, hackers hacked the oil pipeline that runs from Texas up to Maryland. They hacked it and shut it down. I think it's called the Centennial Pipeline. Anyone, if they can remember that, put it in the comments section. I can't remember, but that was their deal. Fuck everyone. That's literally what they did. They shut down the oil pipeline. And Biden, who was president at that time, said, it's not a national security problem. Are you fucking kidding me? The oil and energy supply running from Texas to the fucking New England corridor is not a national security issue. We're over in the Middle East right now fighting a war because Iran did what? Fucking nothing. But if Iran had attacked Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or any of those other countries first, which they didn't, but if they had done that first, we'd be over there lickety-split. That's the whole point of the deal with the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, was we'll protect you, you give us cheap oil in America. That deal was struck back in the 1970s. Don't fuck with our oil. Oil is energy. Energy is our standard of living. Nothing works without energy. Farming, water, communications, travel, nothing works without energy. Oil is energy. Solar power is energy. Nuclear power is energy. You don't fuck with it. But guess what? They certainly did, didn't they? They certainly did. They can hack anything. They can hack or blame hackers. They can shut the power off. We can't communicate. So how are you going to communicate? CB radio, walkie-talkies, local communication, ham radio, shortwave radio, that is middle to long-range communication. But just listening, period, with a regular radio, a world band radio, but you're going to need solar power. You're going to need generators for short-term outages and solar panels for long-term, right? You can get both at thepreparedmind.club. Go there and look under power. You should be able to, get solar. I've got a big solar panel, one of the ones that I had at the RMZ when I lived in the jungle. I brought one of them back with me just because, well, I just loved the solar power there. I was completely off-grid. It was fucking amazing. I also had a mini generator there. I still have a mini generator here at the bunker. Because short-term power outage, I just fire up the propane power generator. Long-term power outage, just put the solar panel out there. It ran a miniature refrigerator and charged all my computers at the RMZ. I had one solar panel, folks, for weeks and weeks while I raised funds and then hired a contractor and a bunch of foreigners come in and put in the solar. It was great. You need to have it. Communication is key. Food, water, but yeah, communications. Thank you, Robin, for the great super chat donation. We got a lot to talk about, folks. Lots of things going on. But now we've got Eric's in the house with a $20 super chat donation. He says, hey, John, Eric here. Just wanted to remind everybody of a great quote by Thomas Jefferson. Where the people fear the government, there is tyranny. Where the government fears the people, there is liberty. What a beautiful quote. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that much. The Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers were brilliant men. They weren't old men. I think George Washington was amongst the oldest, and he was in his 40s. He was in his 40s. I know that Benjamin Franklin was older, but James Madison, he was a young man. Thomas Jefferson, a young man. These guys are in their 20s and 30s, folks. They were brilliant. They were philosophers. They were students of political thought. Anyways, I really believe that if I had been there, we would have more accountability written into the Constitution. Because I believe the Founding Fathers, they said things like exactly like this Jefferson quote, where the people fear the government, there is tyranny. That was pre-1776. Pre-1776. Pre-Declaration of Independence. But post-Declaration of Independence and post-Revolution, he said, where the government fears the people, there is liberty. Does our government fear us? No, they don't. You know what the government fears? Us stepping up and taking our country back. You know what they hate? They hate our rights. They hate our freedoms. They hate our amendments. They hate us. Our government hates us. Fucking hates us. They don't fear us anymore. They hate us. So they're trying to destroy us. And the moment government tries destroying us, they become tyrants. There should be more accountability, faster accountability, easier accountability. If I was around during the Declaration of Independence and then the writing of the Constitution, I would have had some different words and recommendations.
There must be harsh penalties to hold politicians accountable for any effort to subvert our God-given rights.
I think they would have agreed with me, because I would be able to tell them 200 years into the future, 250 years into the future, I watch politicians talk about removing our rights, limiting our rights, increasing government spending. If I told them that the government, the United States government, would be $1 billion in debt, they would go, $1 billion? $1 billion in debt? I go, yeah, that's when I was a kid. By the time I was an adult, we were at trillions of dollars. They would lose their mind. They go, how can they spend that much? What would they spend it on? You see, that's just it. What are they doing with all the money? Our roads are shit, but they manage the roads. The bridges are dangerous, but they kind of fix them. We have a military. Oh, they spend a lot of money on the military. But then we've got black ops, secret projects, continuity of government. Like these underground bases. Underground cities is what they're calling them now. Where the rich protect themselves. Where the powerful in government protect themselves at our expense. It's crazy. The government doesn't fear us, but the government knows, right? The government knows that they hate us and they need to destroy us. So they're doing all they can. But as a government, and every government throughout history has destroyed themselves and destroyed their own country, they become more tyrannical in the process. In the process, they become more tyrannical. Anyways, Eric, I really appreciate that. Great quote. We used to get quotes from Mr. Skylight, too. He would do quotes from the Founding Fathers and great patriots. And I always love reading them because those men saw into the future. They believed at the time in their lives, they believed everyone knows what tyranny is, everyone hates it, we'll all stay on the side of freedom and liberty. But then later in life, Thomas Jefferson said, we need a revolution every 20 years to keep government honest. He was already seeing at that point that government was seeking its own power to serve itself. And he said that the tree of liberty needs to be watered with the blood of tyrants and patriots every so often. Wise men, but I'll tell you what, right? There's no stopping government. With all the restrictions, all the limitations that have been put on government, look what they're doing to us. This is why the Second Amendment and the First Amendment are absolutely critical, because without either of those, everything else fails. Never stop talking. Never stop sharing. Never give up your guns. Period. Period. Now, we're going to go to this super chat by Patty Hamilton, checking in with a $5 super chat up here. Gets you on the screen here. Going to make you famous, Patty. She writes that Jake Lang, he is this young man, probably 30-ish. He sounds and acts very patriotic. He tends to wear like a bulletproof vest or some sort of flak jacket. He goes to a lot of protests. He goes and he tells politicians what he thinks at City Hall. But Jake Lang was arrested in Minneapolis, Minnesota, by the mayor there, who is a complete scumbag, Muslim sack of shit. Did you know that never mind, fuck it. Jake was attacked by Muslims, but nothing was said about that. The police watched it. The police protected the Muslims who were throwing rocks. That's known as stoning. It's an ancient Muslim practice to kill people with rocks. Oh, don't worry. The The Jews did it too back in those times. They didn't have guns, folks, so they used rocks. Very effective way to kill someone in a very slow, degrading, and painful way. Getting smashed in the head repeatedly with rocks. Well, Jake Lang and others, other Christians, were attacked by Muslims. The police did nothing. The police didn't stop them. But Jake Lang shows up, attends public hearing with the city council, with the mayor presiding, this sack of shit Muslim mayor, and he gets arrested. And now, folks, that was Minneapolis, huh? Patty says that was Minneapolis. I believe it's Dearborn, Michigan, over the weekend. They've had it. They have fucking had it. The Christians, the white people, the Americans have fucking had it in Dearborn, and they rode, and I mean rode into that town, the bikers did. The truckers, the patriots, the veterans, the Americans, and not a fucking Muslim to be seen. They have checked out. They've stepped out of the way. Because they're afraid. They should be. Americans are waking up, and I encourage you, my friends, to be lawful, but be patriotic. To be polite when dealing with Americans, and being absolutely viciously verbally abusive to un-American, unpatriotic, treasonous, traitorous pieces of shit. They need to hear it, folks. As much as I see fruitcakes and I point and laugh, call them fruitcakes. Fucking mentally deranged lunatics. Right? Personality disorder having fruitcakes. I'll fucking let them have it. If they want to be stupid. Same with these fucking morons. These anti-Americans. These third worlder, other country people. Get the fuck out of my face. We need to be loud and proud as Americans. No more apologizing. No more being what? Tolerant. That doesn't mean go hurt anyone or break a law, but you don't have to be tolerant of this anymore. It's over. Tolerance has gotten us what? Overrun, overtaxed, mistreated, abused, and now our rights are being violated by these fucking people who want Sharia law, who want to blast the call to Muslim prayer 5 times a day while telling you you can't have a dog, you can't eat pork, you can't have church bells, you can't be American, you can't have music. Oh, fuck that. You can't have music. You can't walk down the street. You can't preach the Bible. You can't carry a Bible. It's offensive to these fucking Muslims. Telling you. Thank you, Patty, very much. Very much. And, wow, with the Courageous Cat checking in with a $50 super chat donation. And I tell you what, she is absolutely correct. John is parched. It's a very parched. Thank you very much, Courageous Cat. I'll take a scotch. Great super chat donation. Any super chat donation, $50 or more, buys me a scotch and keeps me tuned up. And I tell you what, I love our friends in Scotland, folks. I'm a good fan of the Irish whiskey as well. I love the Irish. I love the Scots. And believe it or not, the English aren't so bad themselves. God bless them all over in the UK. But they need to stand up, and they need to fight, and they've got the same problem we have here with these fucking foreigners. These desert rats, whatever their desert religion is, they're lost. They're absolutely scum. They all think they're superior to us, that God chose them somehow. The most retarded, backwards-ass, inbred people on the planet. Yeah, God chose them. I'm buying that. Some of these fucking people don't even have the wheel. They barely have a written language. They don't have any education to speak of, other than reading a holy book that says to kill you and rape your fucking women. Well, I'll tell you what, Courageous Cat, I'm sure you're armed, and I hope all real women are. Here's to you. Semper Fi means always faithful. God bless America. Take your breath away. Woo! Thank you, Courageous Cat. Oh, wow. Now, we are really hot today. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments coming through. We've got 275 people live. I'd like to hit 300. We're 90 minutes into the show. Almost an hour and a half. And you guys have kept me very busy with super chats. which is great because it's like the zoo is like fundraiser, keeps the channel going. So share the internet address up top, hit the share button down below, and that tells YouTube, oh, thumbs up also. Hit the thumbs up, doesn't cost you a thing. Tell others to come to watch this. Text, email, fax, write, call, whatever it takes. Get the message out. Use Facebook, doesn't matter. Use Instagram, doesn't matter. Just get the word out. Come and wake the fuck up before we all get completely wiped out by the enemy. And now we've got, coming back second time today, we got Viking checking in with another $20 super chat donation, and he says, hey, in England, the Prime Minister stated that all towns and villages have to take their fair share. The government is now handing out grape manuals to the invaders. Grape manuals? Grape? Oh, I know what you meant to. Rape manuals. Yeah. I read about this several days ago. That the English government, every time they invite in an illegal, a Muslim, because they're not properly being vetted by the country, so they're obviously illegal. There's a process and a system. Fuck it, they get off the boat and they hand them a rape manual. Rape isn't allowed. We don't like rape here. You shouldn't just have sex with any girl you happen to fall upon, drag in the bushes, hit on the head with a fucking rock, or stab, and then rape them. You see, to a Muslim, rape is glorious. Rape is glorious, as long as you're not raping another Muslim. Unless, of course, it's a young Muslim girl who's violating the Quran. Otherwise, they won't rape each other, but they will rape white women. I mean, they like white women. They don't have mustaches. They don't smell like a horse's ass. Right? They are well built, I guess, compared to these. I couldn't tell you how a Muslim woman is built because, well, they put them under burqas, and I couldn't give a shit anyways what they are like, right? Because they're dangerous. They're fucking liars. They're thieves. How many videos have you been watching where the Muslim woman has been caught and they tell her to take all the shit out of her clothing and she starts just unloading food, everything that she could steal in a store, they take and they have pockets built into their garments so they could fucking steal. And then they get offended if they're caught. And they get even more offended if they're told to empty their stuff out. And they get even more offended if they're told, take that shit off. We're going to pat you down. Oh no, you can't do that. I'm a Muslim. Who gives a fuck what you are? You're in our country, our culture, our laws. England, Prime Minister, you have to take your fair share of illegals. What is a fair share? What is fair about any of it? You have to give up your house, give up your job, give up your money, give up your wealth, give up your safety? Fuck you. Yeah, we got rid of Queer Starmer, who did everything he could in his power as Prime Minister, working with the cities, the police stations, or the constabulary, if you want to call them that, and did what? They hid 250,000 estimated cases of rape. They refused to take complaints, criminal complaints of rape. In fact, the police would show up and participate in gang rapes of British girls. Literally participate. They would allow Pakistani and other Muslim groups to kidnap and hold British girls as rape toys. Parents, fathers would go to the police and go, my daughter's in that house, I need to go get her. They'd say, you can't do that, we'll arrest you. I don't know why that would stop anyone. I see red right now, folks. Fucking red. Thinking about what would happen if that happened in my family, or to anyone I know, or anywhere in my fucking neighborhood or my state. I'm seeing red right now. Unfucking believable. Thank you, Viking, for pissing me off good with that one. The government is handing out rape manuals to the invaders. When is a good time to rape? Oh, well, what? Right? You shouldn't rape. No, no, no. How about it's a fucking criminal offense? We'll cut off your dick and your balls. We'll feed them to you and then throw you in the British Canal, the channel, and you have to swim your ass back to France or just take the current all the way down to Morocco. You fucking weirdo cavemen. That's basically what the rape manual should say. Just my opinion. May not be popular, but it's mine. Are you prepared, folks? Because they want to bring it here. They want it in Australia. They want it in Japan. They want it in New Zealand. They want it all across Europe. Hell, they want it in China and Russia. But China and Russia say, fuck you, to the scumbags that are in charge of England and in charge at the World Economic Forum, at Davos, the ones that are in charge in Israel, the ones that are in charge in Washington, D.C. They don't want it. I don't blame them. I don't want it either. All right, let's get into it. Yes, I want to get back to this. The Democrat Socialists of America, folks. That is, these are Democrats that have now gone full-blown communist, and they're calling themselves Democrat Socialists of America, the DSA. So a DSA, champagne, rich bitch, ultra-privileged New York City socialist with the very fitting name of Grace has been getting bitch slapped on social media for posting a condescending message on her social media account. This is not her, but this is the type of rich bitch attitude. These champagne fucking socialists. So she wrote, quote, like, have y'all never heard of noblesse oblige? Which means noble obligation. Like, have y'all never heard of noblesse oblige? I have a moral obligation to use my advantages to help those who are struggling. Doesn't that sound noble? It's a moral obligation. Noblesse oblige. A noble obligation. This is what this snotty, rich bitch, socialist communist New York City socialite cunt said. Pardon my French. I have a moral obligation to use my advantages to help those who are struggling. Never forget what we now know, folks. Socialism can be fascism, social fascism, as long as the state has full authority. Socialists, by the way, like these bitches, they want the poor people helped, and they want the foreigners and the migrants to have everything that they need. They're not giving up their fucking champagne. They're not giving up their mansions or their private jets or their fucking yachts. No. Socialists never use their money to help those who are struggling. Socialists always steal our wealth. Socialists always spend your money, my money. Well, a little of it goes to the poor, and the rest goes to themselves and their businesses through government contracts, right? Fascism. But they pretend to be high and mighty. Oh, yeah, yes, it's the noblesse oblige. It's my moral obligation to make sure that everyone gets helped. They pretend to this high and mighty, goody two-shoe philanthropy bullshit. They are the modern Marie Antoinette class. Now remember, Marie Antoinette, wife of Napoleon Bonaparte, right, said of the poor people of France who were starving to death, let them eat cake. Well, these stupid bitches probably think Marie Antoinette meant cake, as in coffee cake, birthday cake. No. Cake was the built-up burnt crust that would stick to the inside of ovens, because everything got baked in an oven, and it would splatter and shit, and it would stick and it would burn. That was cake. You had to go and scrape the caked burnt shit off before you could, right, cook the next meal. Let them eat cake. Let them eat charcoal burnt fucking food. That was Marie Antoinette. These dumb bitches probably think she means coffee cake and birthday cake. But this is them. The champagne socialists. The too good for you bourgeoisie assholes who never struggle, but they're born to pretend to care while protecting their own wealth, ensuring they keep their fucking power. And the Democrat Socialists of America are proving to be the champagne elite evil of the world. Period. That's who they are. That is what they are. And they're not going to quit. They're not. These dumb bitches, right? The Democrat Socialists of America. Right? It's like all the Ivy League and college kids whose parents, liberal parents, send their liberal kids to liberal colleges to start Antifa chapters and to attack people. That's what they're up to. That's exactly what they're up to, and that's what they want more of. I mean, now, get this, right? The New York Times journalist has admitted that the Democrat Socialists of America, the DSA, wants to, quote, take out the entire constitutional system. They want to get rid of our Constitution, your Constitution. What do you think of that? Do you like that idea? To me, there's no doubt that this article is true. I've heard it too many times from the DSA. There's no doubt. They speak privately and publicly, very, very loudly, about their hatred of America, their hatred of the Constitution, the hatred of our culture, the hatred of everything American, our traditions, our laws, everything. Like terrorist religions, the DSA want death and mass murder. Just like the communists of the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, 60s, and so on and so forth. And the one thing they're good at, folks, is murdering with vicious efficiency, like the communist regimes of the past. So I'm going to ask you this question. Do you fully grasp what happens if Antifa, if communists, if these alien migrants and Middle Eastern religions, all these freaks unite and they get violent? Yeah. You should know exactly what they're going to do, right? They want to kill us all. Right? I told you earlier, Stalin executed half the fucking country. Yet people still want communism. They executed their own military once they took power because they're afraid of losing their fucking power. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, AOC, remember this horse-faced bitch? This bitch could eat an apple through a picket fence and she wouldn't get any splinters in her lips with those fucking teeth. Right? Radical Maoist, meaning Chinese communist, a radical Maoist faction of the DSA. They got a Bolshevik faction, they got a Maoist faction, they got a Karl Marx faction, right? They're all DSA. Anyways, the radical Maoists the radical Maoists of the DSA say that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is too moderate to run for president in 2028. Can you believe that? This dumb bitch, who is a socialist communist, is too moderate to run for president? What does that tell you of how radical the DSA is? We're this close to having a Bolshevik revolution, folks. What's it going to take? What's it going to take? It's going to take a George Floyd incident, a George Floyd moment, a George Floyd mouthpiece. No, we're going to talk more about this, folks. I've got some time left. Carport Carl says, Mao, burning in hell since 1976. Yeah, the chairman Mao died in 1976. Yep. Yeah, burning in hell. What a... Now look. Stalin, Lenin, Trotsky, the fucking Bolshevik Jewish communists of early Russia, they murdered 40, 50, 60 million people. Same with Mao. He killed 40 or 50 million Chinese in his takeover. But AOC, she's too moderate. It tells me the Democrats are serious about putting AOC into the nominee slot, and she'll lose. They want to say she's moderate. That way all the Democrats are like, hey, look, The DSA are so radical. We need AOC because they're crazy. So let's go with a moderate Democrat, AOC, who is already running on DSA, Democrat, Socialist, Communist of America. She's already running on their platform, but they're saying she's too moderate. Right? It's because they want to make her the nominee. She is a radical and she's retarded enough, folks. I think she is retarded enough for many of the DSA, but she's moderate enough, I think, also to run as president for just the standard retarded Democrats. The Democrat Socialist of America is the political direction the Democrat Party wants to go on. But the elites need to be more incremental unless they want to have a violent revolution. And for that, they may shove in a Ma'am Damney type personality into the national spotlight. They might. It could happen. It really could, folks. They are getting so radical so fast. They have to. So radical, so fast. Where are we going next? Super chat donations up there. Get you on the screen down here. More on these radical communist types. They are the foot soldiers. They're the alley bashers. They are the footpads. They are the fucking youths, the Hitler youths of the Communist Party. They are the Bolsheviks. Now, the anniversary of Charlie Kirk's assassination is coming close. And this piece of shit here, this is Hassan Piker. He is a communist Muslim. Hassan Piker. He is a social media big mouth, another champagne Muslim rich piece of shit living in a multi-million-dollar home worth millions and millions of dollars talking about how we need communism in this country. Hassan Piker, this piece of shit, is busy right now mocking the murder of Charlie Kirk at a public event. Our nation is going to undergo violence, folks, never seen before on our native soil, ever seen before, if these people keep doing what they're doing, and our government keeps allowing it. The enemy of all that is good and all that is holy is everywhere now. They're hiding behind political movements. They're hiding within religious movements. They're hiding within humanitarian charades like, oh, I'm here to use my bourgeoisie attitude and money to help people. They're fucking liars. It's a charade. And they're also just outright terrorists, many of them. And when we get to the violence, folks, when we get to the purge, when we get to the shit it's the fan, when we get to the Mad Max, when these people attack, it's going to take years to eradicate them after the open warfare has begun. Because they will try to hide. They will lie about their beliefs and their intentions. They'll go hide under bridges in their fucking rat dens. The question I have for you is, are you prepared for it? Are you prepared for years of fighting? Are you prepared for the government to allow it to get that bad? Simple questions. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Are you prepared? Hassan Piker is going to become a type of cheese, the kind with Swiss holes in it. All of these people will have earned a very special place in hell. All of them, right? These types of fucking clowns. These clowns right here. They're going to earn exactly what they deserve. Now, I want to give you some good news. I always like to do some good news on the show. A First Amendment victory in a D.C. Circuit Court. This is a major win. The court has overturned the verdict against James O'Keefe, formerly of Project Veritas. And the court said that undercover journalism is protected speech. We need a fucking court to tell us that? I mean, wait, stop the presses. But literally, why is this news? How hard, I'm going to ask you guys, how hard is it to understand the government cannot arrest free people? The government cannot stop people from speaking. They cannot stop people from investigating, from learning, from looking. whether they're undercover or openly journalists or just normal people like you and me, doing whatever the fuck we want. And this is where we're at now, folks, with government trying to say you can't record, government trying to say you can't report, government say you can't go undercover, you can't find out where the fraud's at and the corruption's at, you can't expose it, you can't say anything. Who the hell's the government to tell us that when we have a First Amendment? First Amendment, Constitution, it's right there. Rights are rights. Rights are not privileges. Rights come from God. They don't come from government. Government grants license. Government grants privilege. I don't exist by privilege or by license. I exist by right. But this is where we're at now. People like Hillary Clinton and all the members of the big club that we're not in, right? The World Economic Forum types. They say the First Amendment has limits. While they buy up Hollywood, mainstream media, use their money and their influence to brainwash children with cartoons and in school with their sick, perverted fucking books, their tranny, drag queen books. Folks, the only reason tyrants get tyrannical control is because it's allowed. We, me and you, we need to refuse tyranny, its authority. Anytime these people say you can't, someone needs to stop up and say, try and fucking stop me. And a lot of people are. And I can't tell you how proud I am of them. That is great. We need more of that. We need more of that. The amount of comments coming down the board and across the screen is absolutely ridiculous. You guys are awesome. Super chat donation up here or down below. What do we got here? Okay, doon, and done. Let's keep going, folks. What do we got left? Well, we got less than 15 minutes, about 10 minutes left. If you got something to say, now's your chance. As my dear beloved mother would say, and often did say, speak now or forever hold your peace. I don't think she understood what kind of trouble she was causing for herself and for all these fucking communists. Because I'll tell you, I'll give it to you. Let's go international a little bit. I want to go international with you guys. I'm going to show you a picture here. Do you remember guys like this? What is that guy on? He's on a ship. He's on a cargo ship, a tanker ship. I can tell because he's way up by the bridge. But here he is with a high-powered rifle, a scope. He's wearing body armor. He's wearing Kevlar on his head. And he's about to fuck someone up. The Somali pirates have seized yet another cargo ship off the coast of Yemen. This is now the 6th major ship since April that has been taken over by these Somali pirates. Now, I recall ships having armed protection, which included guns, machine guns, and even small artillery. The ships would hire them, the shipping companies would hire them to protect themselves. This was like a decade ago when all this bullshit started with the Somali pirates. Look at me, I am the captain now. Remember that fucking dork? That light bulb headed Somali motherfucker? These are the same Somali motherfuckers, by the way, that are being imported into America, into Minneapolis, into Minnesota, all over the country. They got big bulbous heads, pointy little chins, and fucking screwy eyes, and they're sacks of shit. They're inbred as fuck and they're Muslims. It seems shipping companies forgot how to fix the problem. They better wake the fuck up. Or just close up shop. If you're not fucking bright enough to understand where the pirates are, and that you need to protect themselves, I mean, this ship is carrying billions of dollars in either fuel and oil, or billions of dollars in cargo. Either way, it's billions of dollars. What do you think it costs to hire this guy for 2 weeks to go from point A to point B on a ship? What do you think he charges for 2 weeks? Let's just say he gets $10,000 for 2 weeks' work. Someone gets close to the boat or the ship, he shoots at him. If they get even closer, he starts shooting them as individuals and takes them the fuck out. Because if he doesn't, they'll get on board the ship and they will kill him. And again, it's an act of self-defense to shoot at pirates. The death penalty for treason, or the penalty for treason is death. The penalty for piracy is death. No trial needed. You're a fucking pirate. You die. Simple. It's happening again, folks. It's happening. And it's the same fucking people that are in Europe, that are in America, that are in Australia, that are destroying our countries. These low-life, low IQ, inbred, dumb Muslim motherfuckers. All of these people from the desert, folks. These desert religions. Not good. Not good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Rifleman, for showing us. Pirates. Arg. All right. Let's see what else we want to talk about. Time is running out on the show, folks. You're going to love this shit. Right? Joseph Stalin executed half of his country. Joseph Stalin is the second from the left in the front row. The rest of those people up there, bunch of fucking communist fucks. All of them. Right? What did they like to do? They like to kill everyone they could. That was communism. Communism then, communism now. And guess what we have? We have a Democrat Socialist of America candidate. Another communist. For U.S. Senate. Her name is Angie Nixon. And she says Governor DeSantis is a racist. Once again, a communist black group. Remember that I said the DSA has religious groups, racist groups. They have economic groups. Whatever they need to oppose that is free and American, they'll oppose it. So her faction is calling everyone that opposes communism racist. And she claims that the BLM riots, 275 riots, she says the riots were, quote, overwhelmingly peaceful. And for opposing them, opposing communists, remember, Florida is now saying, you will teach the dangers of communism. So, remember the riots, 275 riots? Overwhelmingly peaceful. Once anyone realizes the communist DSA, Democrats, the religious nut jobs, all of them, whether they're domestic or from the Middle East, they always lie. It is for me, it's simple math to figure out what their goal is, what their MO, their modus operandi is. Their procedure is the same. They lie. They accuse the opposition of what they do. 275 riots caused $4.5 billion in damage. $4.5 billion in damage. How is that mostly peaceful? It can't be. How can it be overwhelmingly peaceful? Since when does overwhelmingly peaceful mean $4.5 billion in destruction is okay? And I witnessed their peaceful attitude personally in a small rural town where the communist BLM crowds showed up and they were watched by the anti-communist, anti-BLM, anti-George Floyd crowds. They watched them, they followed them in their cars up and down the streets as they threatened everyone. And the people, the good people of that small Northern California town, were waiting for some stupidity on their part, some reason to arrest them. Now these people, these mostly peaceful people, right? They were aggressive, they were confrontational, they were argumentative, and they were threatening to me and everyone else. People from out of our town showing up. Now, I'm going to share with you a story because it still makes me laugh to this fucking day. Where I was at in extreme Northern California, there were not a lot of black people. There were some, But we're talking way rural, way country. Right? So BLM, Black Lives Matter, showed up. And they're marching up and down the street, Main Street. Well, one of the gas stations we had was full service. And lots of people worked there. Right? My son was one of them, worked there. Gas station attendant, tire boy. Right? This is back in 2020. Right? But there was a black guy worked at the gas station. And he would come out, full service, fill up your thing, wash your windows. Right? He got tipped really well. Everyone that worked there got tipped good because, well, we took care of each other. Anyways, this group of BLM marchers came down the street, and the leader of them was a black kid, young guy, and he looked at the black man working at the gas station. He says, "Hey, man, quit that job. Come march with us for the black rights." He looked at him and said, "Fuck you, nigger. Get a job. Fucking just put him in his place. Shut his mouth right there." When a black man tells that to one of these guys, it's because he knows better. He knows these people are fucking scum, that they're communists, that they're aggressive, they're confrontational, they're argumentative, they're threatening, and they wanted to shut the town down. Well, we ended up chasing them the fuck out. Of course, I was visited that evening by city police and county sheriff. I was like, "Dude, you're out of your jurisdiction. As far as you, Mr. Sheriff, you and I are friends already. You know, what do you want to know?" "Well, we just want to know what was said to you and what you said to them." And I said, I told them what I had. And they go, "Well, how dangerous was the situation really?" I said, on the scale of 1 to 10 for dangerous, like a 1. I mean, I'm just fucking yelling at these people out the window of my truck, giving them, they fucking flip me off. I give them the finger. They call the police on me. Yeah, they're peaceful. They're overwhelmingly peaceful. They're overwhelmingly fucking stupid. Folks, color to me doesn't matter. Attitude matters. Loyalty matters. Patriotism matters. And this guy here, this guy gets my fucking vote right here. He showed up in Dearborn at the city council. And he looked at the fucking mayor. This is another town where it's run by fucking Muslims now. And he says, "You are 1% of this nation." This is a quote from this guy. "You are 1% of this nation." He's a Christian pastor. "You're 1% of this nation. This city is no longer under American law. Enough is enough." And he fucking went off on him during their meeting. Now, you know, all his points, all the points that all the speakers are made. I think on Thursday, I had another picture of another guy who just fucking read him the riot act. And let's see if I can find that picture of the guy who just gave him, he fucking let him have it. He told him exactly what he thought of them. This guy here. I'm going to put this guy up. This guy fucking yelled at him. Right, he's wearing camouflage pants, black shirt, hoodie, right, black gloves, and he told them, the Dearborn Council, that they came here to conquer. They're not here to assimilate and be Americans. They're here to conquer and fuck us all over. This pastor got up and he read them the fucking riot act. Right? We're America. We're Americans. We have a constitution. We have our race, and it is a race of Americans. How's that? Our religion is Christian-based. It is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat everyone fairly. We have law, we have culture, we have traditions, and this guy gets my fucking vote for telling those fuckers off. But telling them off isn't going to be enough, folks. It's not going to be enough. Are you prepared for what's coming? Right? These people that are here, they're not the majority. They are small groups concentrated in different cities. And in a concentrated effort, they can attack, they can take over, they can cause problems, and that's all they give a shit about is destroying our country. All those BLM guys, they bust them from city to city to city to city all over the place because they didn't have enough people. So they paid people money to show up and protest. George Soros did. George Soros paid millions and millions of dollars. They paid hundreds of dollars a day for these scumbags to go throw bricks at the police, set fire to businesses, loot and steal. And they're a tiny percentage of the population. Somehow they still managed. Well, right here at the end of the show, the 2-hour mark, We've got another $20 super chat coming from Viking. He gets the hat trick for the night 3 times. And he says, in my town, they're building condos between houses as well as high rises. By next spring, there'll be an extra 8,500 cars on 18-foot side streets and a 33-foot main road. I'm leaving. Yeah, overdevelopment. I mentioned earlier, and thank you again, Viking, for the great support and the great comments. There's only 5 major metropolises that I know of in Canada. Maybe there's a couple more, Brunswick, Nova Scotia. I mean, are we going to count that as a metropolis? But yeah, 18-foot wide streets. You literally need at least 18 feet just for cars to pass safely. Right, a car is 6 foot wide, you add mirrors, you're up to 7 foot. Sometimes 8 foot. 2 of those passing, that's 16 feet. 18 feet gives you 6 inches between and 6 inches off the side, right? Right? But hey, let's add more cars. Where are they going to park? I'm seeing so much of this in Florida right now because so many people are moving here and continuing to move here, and they're continuing to develop the shit out of the state. There's no place to put all the people. They're tearing down houses here, Viking, and building high-rise apartments, high-rise condos. If you go over to Tampa or over to parts of Orlando or down in Miami or over in Jacksonville, they're building up, 4-story, 5-story, 6-story apartments. Condominiums in the big cities, they're going up, 30, 40, 50 stories. It's crazy. Where are you going to get all the water? Right? Where are you going to park all the cars? But I see what's happening where you're at. I mean, if you're getting 1.5 million, you're getting 2.5% population increase. This is not, as you were saying, it's not the people that are reproducing. Right? It's imported scum. Oh, don't worry. They'll put 5 or 6 families in a single apartment. They'll absolutely destroy it. They don't give a fuck because they're not paying for it. You are. And down here in America, I am. Sucks, actually. I'll tell you what, folks. This has been a hell of a show. Thank you, Viking, again. Bam! One of the great sponsors of the channel. And if you want to sign up and be a premium member, thepreparedmind.club or subscribestar.com. We have a site there as well, the Prepared Mind does, at subscribestar.com. $2 a month. You can be here every day. 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. We go live every day, Monday through Friday, except when I get totally jacked up like last week. I'm just struck by heat exhaustion, dehydration several times. It's been hot here. Freaking hot as hell, but that's life. Are you prepared, though? Are you training? Are you staying in good shape? Are you keeping up here? Well, at the Prepared Mind, that's what we do. We don't have the preparedmind.com. It's the preparedmind.club. And that's where you can go to get prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and of course, self-defense items. We do not sell guns. In fact, I don't sell anything. I just put links there to send you elsewhere. Get prepared, folks. It's getting nasty, and it's going to get worse. The Democrats, Socialists of America, they're very real. The Muslims are very real. AIPAC, the pro-Israel Fuck America coalition, is very real. Everything they're doing is to hurt us and help themselves. Wherever they're from around the world, whatever religion they are from around the world, they're not here for you. They're here for themselves, and they're going to take it from us. So get prepared. Godspeed, God bless, and of course, Semper Fi. I'll see you guys later.